Hi, this is Michael, and you're listening to my sports psychology podcast. I have a very important topic to talk about today, one that athletes deal with way too much, and it is called burnout. If you are an athlete and you've been doing it for a while, you've probably experienced some form of burnout. Last year, we saw tennis superstar Naomi Osaka really suffer from burnout, actually from depression combined with burnout. She stepped away from her sport saying that winning didn't make her happy anymore. That is something to avoid. That is something that we don't want any athlete to go through. That feeling of saying winning doesn't make you happy anymore. You're not enjoying your sport anymore. You are truly burned out. And, in the worst case, you can see an athlete actually quit their sport forever, way too early. And we hope that doesn't happen with Naomi Osaka, but we've seen this with other athletes. You probably know other athletes who have experienced burnout so severe that they end up quitting their sport. And maybe that happened to you. I hope not. But today I want to talk about causes of burnout and provide some solutions to burnout. Okay, before I talk about causes of burnout, I think we need to define burnout first, because that could mean different things for different athletes. The definition that I came up with is a sustained deviation from your baseline ups and downs. What I mean by that is athletes naturally experience ups and downs in their performance. Example would be a baseball player who has a batting streak or a batting slump. It's pretty natural in all sports that you're going to have normal ups and downs, but a burnout is a deviation from your ups and downs. Think about it like a graph, like a stock market, like a bear market, or a recession, where if you looked at a graph, you would say, wow, this is different from my normal ups and downs. I'm on a low here, and I've been here for a while. So in defining burnout, I also would like to say that burnout is not depression, although burnout can lead to depression, and you can be depressed and be burned out in your sport at the same time. But depression is a little different. It is more of a change in your physiology, in your sleep, your appetite, your motivation, kind of in all areas of your life, although it doesn't have to be that severe. But my point here is that burnout is more confined to your sport motivation, or depression, you're kind of feeling it in more areas of your life. But if you even think that you're depressed, get help, right? So don't hold back. Always talk to somebody if you're feeling burned out or depressed. So let's talk about causes of burnout. I have 8 of the most common causes of burnout. Of course, there's more, but these are the big ones. When I work with athletes, these are the ones that really come up. Number 1 is expectations. If you have really high expectations for a particular meet, match, race, whatever it is, and you don't meet them, and you're really crestfallen by that, if you really are putting all of your self-esteem into a particular result and you don't get it, that can really notch you down and start pushing you into burnout. Number 2 cause of burnout, I would say, is perfectionism. If you are the type of athlete that has to have everything perfect, the perfect workout, the perfect performance, or any flaw, even during that performance, even if it leads to a victory, if you start focusing afterward on your mistake or this little misstep and you really obsess about it, that's a sign of perfectionism. Perfectionism isn't necessarily bad if you have control over it and you are able to tame it and notice it and give yourself a break. So I would say let go of some of that hyper control of perfectionism. Life doesn't work that way. You're not in control of everything. There's too many things out there that you don't have control over, especially when you're playing your sport. So let go of some of that perfectionism. The third cause, the big cause of burnout, I would say, is team culture and your coach's attitude. So your environment that is supporting you, that should be supporting you. If it is toxic, I don't like to use that trendy word, but you know what I mean. It's like If your coach is one of these people who really doesn't have a lot of empathy for burnout or things like this, or it's this forbidden topic, that can lead you to burnout because it's this thing that you have to keep inside of you. You can't admit any signs of burnout, which can really push you into burnout. So that team culture as well, is there a sense of camaraderie on the team? Is it okay to lose? Meaning, is it, again, not a forbidden topic? Can you actually talk about it? That plays a big part in burnout. Number 4, I would say doing your sport for the wrong reason. Are you doing it just to impress your parents or to impress your coach, or because it's something you've been doing since you were a young kid and you don't know anything else, but you really don't like your sport? Like, that's not a good reason to be doing your sport, and that can very often lead to burnout. So be honest with yourself about why you're doing your sport. You should have fun doing it. Number 5 on my list of causes of burnout would probably be just normal life stressors. Look, you're human, you're not a robot. Like, life stressors are going to affect your sport performance and your motivation. Family stress, relationship stress, financial stress, like any kind of these things are going to affect you. So give yourself some grace. And if you're going through a life stress or whatever it is, like cut back on your training a bit, like recharge, like take care of yourself. Again, you're human. Number 6 cause of burnout would probably be good old-fashioned overtraining. That's one of the biggest causes right there. This is very easy to correct. Of course, you just reduce the training. It's pretty easy, but you need to be honest with yourself about your overtraining. Don't be obsessed about putting in the miles or putting in the hours just to put them in, right? Because your end result is you want to get good performance during competition. Number 7 on my list of causes of burnout would probably be lack of balance in your life. Are you spending enough time with relationships that are important to you? Have you not visited your family in, 6 months just because of your competition schedule? Like, maybe you need to figure out ways to work that in so that you have more of a sense of balance in your life to keep you recharged. Number 8 on my top 8 causes of burnout, again, there's more, would be athletes who don't have long-term goals. A lot of athletes will have short-term goals, but not long-term goals. And what I mean by long-term goals is like 2-year, 3-year, 5-year goals that are actually written down. It doesn't mean you are going to achieve them, but you have a target, a map of aspirations so that when you miss your mark on the short-term goal, it's not the end of the world. You have this larger overview, this larger perspective that will keep you from burning out. Okay, let's talk about solutions to burnout. We talked about causes, let's talk about solutions. If you are actually stuck in burnout, I feel for you. Look, I've been there before. I'll share a quick story. I did the 1992 Olympic trials for road cycling, and I had very, very high expectations. I had a lot of perfectionistic traits that were really causing me a lot of pain at the time, and I went into the Olympic trials, didn't get the result that I really wanted, and really just kind of that season was over for me after the Olympic trials. So I experienced burnout for sure. So, in my own experience and in working with athletes, there are some solutions to burnout before you end up quitting your sport at, worst case scenario for burnout. So the number one thing to get yourself out of burnout is to simply talk to someone. Talk to someone. So many athletes will keep things to themselves. They'll suffer internally. They think that sharing their pain is a sign of weakness. Please, please, I implore you, if you're experiencing burnout, talk to someone like a coach, a teammate, a friend, someone that you trust who is not going to judge you, who's just going to be there and let you talk, and you can lean on them and they're not going to judge you. Find someone to talk to, get it off your chest. It's going to be a big relief just to talk to someone who, feels sympathetic for what you're going through. Okay, the second thing to solving burnout would be just simply taking a short break. And I say short break because you want to try a short break before you try a longer break. This would be simply taking, I would say, 4 days off of your sport. That would mean not putting on your running shoes, not stepping on a basketball court, not getting on your bicycle, whatever the case may be, and totally change it up. Take a little mini vacation, go somewhere different, have some fun, just forget about your sport for 4 days, come back and see how you feel. That might be enough to avoid the burnout. Okay, number 3, kind of my big 3 solutions to burnout. There's other solutions there, but these are the 3 things typically that can help you to get out of burnout. Number 3 would be writing down 10 reasons why your sport helps the world and helps you. Okay, now this is a little radical because most athletes don't think about how playing their sport or doing their sport actually helps the world. And why I like this exercise is that it gets you out of your ego, gets you out of your head, and gives you a bigger perspective for your sport. So again, it's writing down 10 reasons why your sport helps you and the world. So it's a combination. You may have 5 reasons why it helps you, 5 reasons why it helps the world, but you have to come up with 10 reasons total. And this is going to be something, again, that's going to get you some perspective in your sport. You may be putting a lot of pressure on yourself. You may be making your sport all about you and you having to get results. And you're not necessarily thinking about that spectator who is going to take up the sport that they just saw just because they saw you. You're not thinking about how even when you in failure and defeat, if you lose gracefully, how that's going to inspire some other teammates or some other players on another team. Like, you don't know sort of the ripple effect of what you have in the world. And I think doing this exercise could be really helpful to get some perspective and avoid burnout. One thing you can do even is synthesize these top reasons how your sport helps you in the world into a mission statement. So a succinct sort of 3-sentence mission statement of why you are doing your sport. Print it out, frame it, put it up on your wall, and you can look at it and it'll be like an anchor, and you'll say, oh, this is why I do my sport. It makes me healthy. It makes me happy. I inspire other people. It is an homage to my body temple. Whatever it is, you can get deep on this, and that can be really helpful. I'll leave you with a quote from Joe DiMaggio, the great baseball player. Someone asked him how he stays so motivated, and he said, every day when I'm in the ballpark, I know that there's a kid in the stands who's watching me play for the first time ever, and I am doing this for that kid. So I think that's really inspiring, just the impact that you have on the world as an athlete. It's not just you. You are spreading good vibes of athleticism, of camaraderie, of sportsmanship into the world. You are a force for good. So I hope that helps you. Talking about burnout today, it's super common. Most athletes go through it. If you're experiencing it, you can get out of it. Don't quit your sport, okay? Don't do that. Take some time, talk to people, get some perspective before you make any rash decisions, all right? Thanks for listening. This is Michael Ceely's Sports Psychology Podcast. If you want to subscribe to this, I'm on all the podcast platforms. I'm on YouTube. Love you to leave some comments and chime in on this very, very important topic. Love to hear from you. Thanks for listening.